And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Aligned Business Insights interview. I have the amazing Viknesvari with me, and I'm very excited to speak to Viknes today. Viknes is one of a group of women that I've been speaking to in this series, and the reason I'm so excited to speak to Viknes is she's got a really awesome story, especially this year, but also just an amazing skill set and how she approaches life and a beautiful business. And she's definitely somebody who embodies bringing alignment into your business. So I want to talk to Viknes today about her perspective and her insights into, what that journey's like, get some of her tips and inside secrets and hear about the challenges and learnings she's had this year. Robin is here watching us live. Hi, Robin. Hi, Viknes.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I haven't introduced you properly, so I'll let you tell people what you do in your business.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Viknesvari. I'm actually a confidence mentor for sensitive women to help them to stop caring about what other people think and to confidently express their passions, their gifts in a way that they trust themselves fully and also deeply believe in themselves. So I find that sometimes self-doubt and self-judgment really gets in the way and get us stuck. And that's my journey this year as well. So I can experience and really understand what that path is to how stuck we can feel and how we can go through that and come through that to live the life that we desire. And the ways that I do that is by holding women's circles on a monthly basis. And I also do coaching programs as well. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, the whole what other people think of me is none of my business thing. It's easier said than done, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Actually, it seems to be sometimes the forefront when you're creating content posts. If you're kind of stuck with going through social media and seeing has anyone liked your post or is there any feedback, that can kind of put you or set you back in terms of wanting to just express what you really want to say. Right.
Yeah, and especially in the beginning, you have such a small audience, so it's almost like there's more focus on every single person that's watching because the numbers are so much smaller. Like I always see women, in the beginning of their journey, they get really upset when they have unsubscribes from their mailing list. But then when because they're like, oh, why don't they love me anymore? But when you get further along in your journey, you're like, yes, they unsubscribed. It means I'm becoming clearer on my message and, I'm not wasting money on an email list that isn't engaged. It's like I'm refining. So do you find that what you do is especially for women who are really early on in that journey?
Yeah, and I think because that's where I am, I have a full-time job and I'm really, like you can say, an infancy stage of my business, right? Still building up, exploring. But I find that through the last few years of exploring what I want my offer to be, what I want my message to be, I've finally come to a space where I have pieces coming together and like a backbone kind of forming probably like a foundation, and that feels really good. And the truth of how I got there was really listening and trusting my inner guidance.
Yeah, you really did. And this year's been an amazing journey, and I definitely want to talk about that. But before we get into it, can I ask you to just kind of give me your definition of alignment? Like, what does it mean to you in general and in business specifically? What does alignment even mean?
Yeah. Actually, right now, the first word that comes to my mind is allowing. And I wasn't planning to say that. So that sounds very beautiful because I think it's about getting out of your own way and kind of letting life happen to you, whether it's something that you want or you don't want, depending on the momentum that you've built. But I guess alignment to me, to be honest, when I started out, I had to choose words that resonated with me first. So I started with the phrase feeling feeling light up from within, feeling filled up from within. And then I moved on to create a art image to reflect that so that it's a visual representation to me. And then it links back to a body kind of feeling where it's very soothing, opening, relaxing. Like you just feel your shoulders kind of relax. Your mind is calm. There's not too many thoughts running through, and that is when I know that I'm in a space of being aligned with who I really am. And for me, it's not just that alignment within. I feel aligned to nature. So I have this relationship with my plants. I love watching trees, and just doing these very simple activities help me to come into alignment. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and how it relates and why it's important to me is I think this year especially I think Miriam, you're aware I kind of left my job and went into a new job, and during that space I was kind of questioning who am I, what am I meant to do, or should I even have this business, everything just felt so hard. um, and I kind of asked the question and then I let it go, uh, because I was just too busy to think too deep about it, right? But the answers kind of just came. It came through a tea bag to say that just be the lighthouse and shine your light. And so simple. And this is an analogy that I deeply resonate with. Um, so sometimes I just find if we can just let go, just open up and just release or relax a little. I know that sounds a bit hard, especially if it's something that you really want. Magic happens.
Yeah, it sure does. And your journey this year was really cool because, like you just shared at the start of the year, it was like, oh, I have a new job now. And even though it was a lot less pressure on you in this job, like time commitment was a lot bigger. And so it made things really difficult for your business. And you kind of had to just let it be for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. I actually took a break, and the interesting thing is, while I took a break, I was very clear that I was taking a break. So there wasn't a separation in my energy in that sense, where a desire at the back of my mind, oh, I really want to be working on my business, but then I need to do this. I was very clear that okay, I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to let my business sit, and I need to focus on adjusting to my new job first. And after I did that, I had that space. I was ready to restart holding women's circles again. And I feel like goosebumps at the back of my neck. But that was that coming back to the business, coming back to life, and coming back to my purpose of and that the thing that gives me that fulfillment of holding the women's circles was really beautiful. And I think
Mm.
that's why I know that it's possible that if we have that idea and that passion within us, it's possible to step forward together with it. Um, Even if we go through times when it doesn't seem to be working out, or we need to put it aside at first.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was, and I think what you just shared about, making a conscious decision to just park it and
Yeah,
not put the pressure on, that's a huge message because when you're constantly, you know, feeling guilty and beating yourself up like that just confuses things even more. So just saying, well, it's just not going to happen at the moment. I'll just leave it be. Probably helped a lot with because what I saw from witnessing you is that you then, when you were ready, when the dust had settled and the new job and so on, and you were ready to come back into it, it just all fell into place for you really fast. Like
okay.
you actually achieved a lot, but you also, in terms of things you got done, but you also achieved a lot just in your clarity and your message and in standing in your power. And
Yeah,
so I think, that was a really great demonstration of the power of alignment. Because I remember saying to you, don't worry about I'm behind, 2 or 3 months now on my
yeah,
plan, because alignment will erase, like alignment makes time irrelevant, doesn't it?
yeah. And I just wanted to add to that, and I think because it was a struggle right at the beginning of the year, but now I find that my turnaround time is a lot faster, and this is not the first time that I've experienced it. I think in other areas of life as well, the turnaround time just gets shorter and shorter. So
So you mean
yeah,
the bouncing, like the snapping back into alignment and getting back on track.
yes, yes.
And so what do you think that is due to?
To be honest, it's really taking care of myself
Yeah.
and being deeply connected to myself,
Mm.
prioritizing my own needs. Because I guess if you look at the relationship with business, and everything's a mirror, right? So that relationship with business reflects my relationship with myself. And if I am taking care of myself, I'm also taking care of this other relationship. And what happens in me when I'm fulfilled, when I'm nurtured, it just easily spills over and overflows into my relationship with business. And so it becomes easy, it becomes a fit. Um, I can flow. I think flow sometimes sounds very abstract, but that thing that you mentioned where it happens quickly, I think that's how I would
Yeah.
probably summarize it.
Nice. Oh, we have, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to totally mispronounce your name. I do it every time. Yoti from Nepal, from the Holy Land of Nepal, saying hello.
Beautiful.
So alignments. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about what it means and what it is to you.
Mhm.
So why is it important for you to have that in your business, do you think?
To be honest, I think I kind of fumbled through the last few years because I was kind of signing up for a lot of different courses, learning from different people, and I was very influenced from external input and what others tell me. But when I focus on alignment and my own values and me feeling coming from that space of being filled up from within, I find that I'm more able to allow my own guidance or intuition to come through. And then that sits very beautifully and sits well with my business and what I'm putting through. So, for example, packaging my circles into from individual circles to 3 month circles, and realizing on hindsight that actually this was a desire and something that my circle participants were asking for, right? They wanted a container and a space. Um, and the other thing I wanted to also share was uh, creating that space and allowing the ideas to come through, because I had this idea of incorporating or talking about chakras and the values with the goddesses. This idea with the chakras was planted many, many years ago, right? But it kind of seamlessly, even without me intentionally realizing, fit in this year, right? So for me, it's like, to really take a step back, allow, and just watch what happens, see if it fits you or not, make what changes you want to. And I find that exactly like you said, I just feel like with the pieces coming together in my business, it feels very resonating to me and it feels strong. And this feeling is something that I've been seeking for quite a long time, I must say.
Yeah, it's been just beautiful to watch. And, you had, do you think there was a moment where you had to take some sort of step of faith this year? Because, there was a wobbly moment where, like you said, where it's like, should I even have this business at all? What was I thinking? How will I even fit it all in? And then, it's just so different now. So do you think there was a decision you made or like some turning point that kind of allowed you to find this groove that you found now?
Yeah, I think there were a few decision points. Um, I guess the very first would be really trusting this desire from deep within me. And why I say that is, even I was just reflecting, like for example, wanting to have a relationship and wanting to have a man in my life. That desire was very strong, and it was a deep knowing within me that it will happen. It's the same feeling that I have with my business as well. And I think when I asked the question, like, who am I, or what I should be doing, and when the answers came, I chose to trust it. I didn't like brush it across or like ask for a second, give me a second sign, you know. So that was the first kind of step internally. And I think after that, practically, I had to commit to working on it with someone who can show me the way, right, Miriam? And get the support that I need so that even while I navigate a life and a new job adjusting, I can still keep my feet on the ground and my eyes on my business and continue that process. So I think having that support in a community of women, um, while staying connected to my desire, has been two of the most important decisions I've made to kind of move through in this direction.
That's really cool to hear you say that, because you also had the full-time job, being part of like the community was more challenging for you. But I think at the same time, it was actually also more valuable to you, right?
Yeah,
Because
I think
it's what kept you tethered.
Yeah, and I think it helps being in community because we don't really need to do this on our own.
God no.
And we're not alone, right? There's so many of us out there doing this. So,
Hmm.
can we hold hands and move forward together as a community because
Yeah.
it's not a competition.
God no. And there's so much to learn from each other, right? And so I want to
Yeah.
ask you something that, because in the beginning you said, you worked with lots of coaches and you hadn't listened to yourself. But then now when I just asked you, what really helped make it stick, it was working with somebody. So what do you think is the difference in going, I need to work with somebody in this way, or it's this person or whatever, and just being lost in the opinions of others? I mean,
Mm,
obviously alignment is a big part of it, but there's lots of people out there who are like I have all these courses and all these things I've signed up. Like, how do you get to the stage, do you think, where you can
yeah.
just like be more selective and choose the
Yeah.
right things for you at the right time? Like, what are
Um,
your insights, Viknes?
Okay, so I think it's a very good question to ask me because I'm multi-passionate. I love to do a lot of things, and I've struggled through like years ago signing up for 10 things at one time. Trust me, you'll never get to them. Your email inbox will just pile up with emails from them that you might probably leave as unread. Um, so what has helped me is actually just choosing one thing to focus on for a period of time. Just one thing, and maybe give a deadline, and actually that one thing can be broken up into a couple of steps as well. You don't have to like put a big task and then say, oh, I'm going to complete it in a month or 3 months. Sometimes it might be really depending on your capacity. Like for me, it wouldn't be possible, since I have a full-time job. So just choosing a tiny task, breaking it down into steps, and then seeing what would be a realistic timeline that I can work on. So I think that was really helpful in moving me forward as well, right? Because if I
Yeah.
had all these ideas but I don't have a plan and I'm putting too much on my plate at one time, or that creating that external pressure and expectation on myself, it's going to be too hard, right? I am definitely going to give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when there's just too much, it's easy to just throw up your hands and go, okay, I'm doing none of it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is I don't have the pressure on me that I need to create this within this short period of time. I allow the space, for it to kind of unfold, and I'm okay to experiment and explore at this early stage of business rather than trying to fix it into a box. So I think that's very helpful, mindset,
Yeah.
and it's also very relaxing for my body because then I don't find myself like clenched, or
Mm.
because you can experiment, you can flow, you can choose what fits.
Yeah. Space to play. And, alignment isn't like, it's not a place, it's a journey, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So alignment is you constantly kind of checking in and readjusting and checking in and readjusting. And I think as we grow and our capability grows and the universe offers us more possibilities and options, the path will start looking different, and we need to stay switched on to that. And I think that's a big part of alignment. It's, that you're always tuning in,
Yeah.
not
It's like, I mean,
locked into that's where I'm going. And that's the
yeah.
opposite, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And as you're speaking, like, I'm just thinking about how, energy work or even showering in our daily needs, brushing our teeth, we do that daily. So it's the same with alignment as well, right? It's a daily
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah, it's a daily practice and it's a daily checking in. And, people often say to me, what do I need to do to like achieve my goals? And it's not about ticking the boxes. It's about paying attention and becoming really self-aware. And that's one thing that you're fantastic at, which is probably, they say you teach best what you most need to learn. You're great at it because you've had to learn it, and you're also great at teaching it. So it becomes this really beautiful, pay it forward cycle kind of thing. So I wanted to ask you, alignment, what do you think is the positive benefit? I mean, obviously there's a lot of positive benefits to you for, be constantly looking to be in alignment. But what do you think is the benefit to your business and also your clients?
Yeah. Um, I think with checking in and with listening to like just the space that I'm in and coming into that alignment space within myself because I have that practice, I find that when I bring this energy into like my circles, I don't come in with everything planned. right? I create that same space, I create the trust, knowing that everyone comes bringing something to contribute, and it's like threads that are being woven together. And I think in that space, then others and my clients, they get to pick up the thread of that and stand in their own power and then lead. It's like leading themselves, but also kind of leading the group in what they're wanting to share.
Mm.
Or there's also that space in my program circles to share their gifts, right? Which I really love this part, and I find that with them stepping forward to lead, just in that small segment, um, or even when they share something and another woman picks it up and share that they are resonating with it, I see women stepping into their power. I see them standing up to speak their truth, to listen to what they are receiving, um, and actually in that moment trying to make sense of what was it that was coming through them. You know, it's unplanned, it's unrehearsed, and I just love witnessing that. I'm getting goosebumps.
Mm.
So I find that because I'm practicing that for myself, I see my clients doing that as well.
Mm. It's wonderful. And this year, with like your business grow, like you've achieved a lot in your business in terms of, you know, things you've put together and, you know, understanding your messaging and so on. Do you think, because there's been a few times where I've gone, whoa, you know, you were like, I'm busy, I can't get to it, da, da, da. And then suddenly it was like this explosion of stuff. So those is that like when you hit that moment of alignment and all the stars align and you just get the big downloads? Like I remember one day we got off a call and you said, oh, that's going to take me a long time, and then a half hour later you sent me this huge email with, you know, 6 different promo posts and whatever, going, so what do you think? And I went, oh my god. So, you know, that's a huge benefit in alignment to your business, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, in that sense, I think creating like the background work has been, how shall I put it? That aligned way. It's been easy. There's been a lot of ease in creating it. And to be honest, why I talk about the bouncing back time being shorter is because I just had another experience, another cycle of that happening where I created another new offering. I created like a newsletter page. I created, you know, all these technical things that the background systems that are needed for business. So I find myself being able to do that a bit faster now as well.
Yeah.
So
And do
that's
you
very
think,
helpful.
yeah, sorry, that it's
Yeah,
hugely helpful. But do you think that not pushing yourself and giving
yeah,
yourself that, you know, we talked about giving it space,
yes.
that stepping back rather than pushing through is actually what allows you to go faster ultimately?
Yes, it's very true because sometimes I go through like maybe a couple of weeks where I'm not working on my business. In that sense, the background part, I might be still sharing my content and sharing what I'm up to. Um, but just that few weeks of break of not like working on the systems or creating something new, just a little bit of break. And then when I come back and it feels right, like I feel like that inspiration and that wave, boom, it's just done. And it's so
Yeah, it's
fast.
like
Yeah,
bam, it all just happens and it's amazing
yeah.
to watch. Okay, so anyone watching who's thinking, I want what she's having, how do I bring more alignment into my business? What would be your suggestion on where and how they should get started?
Yeah. I would advise them to actually get off the train of alignment for business and focus on alignment for themselves first. Because when you're focused on alignment for yourself, it doesn't just happen for your business, it happens for the other parts of your life as well. And that's what's going to make it so beautiful. And you will realize how powerful you are. And the other thing that I'm going to share would be to create that space and the time to really listen and trust your guidance, not what anyone else is sharing or even suggesting to you. Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Wise, wise words. Beautiful. So, before we go, if anybody would like to get in touch with you, find out more about your circles and so on, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, you can sign up for my Dear Heart letters at heartflow.in/newsletter. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'm there at star_child.
star_child.
Star
I love
child.
that. Star child. So I will share that link for your newsletter in the comments of the live stream, and I'll also add it to the description. So look out for that. Viknes, thank you so much for joining me. I've been so looking forward to this, and for very good reason, obviously, because it was a wonderful conversation full of wisdom and heart. So thank you.
Thank you.
And have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye.